John Grant Hopper, an Australian businessman based in Shenzhen.
I'm not I wouldn't say nervous. Hold out your hands. Let me see how steady they are.
欢迎来到 JG 秀。Welcome to the JG Show.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Curtain with yours truly, Curtin, the notorious. Man, it's been too long. This was always going to be a weekly thing, but it didn't end up being so. Hey,
I've got business up top with no pants.
Yes.
The COVID uniform.
the COVID attire, right? So tell us what you've been up to. You're now in Amsterdam, yeah? You're doing the
I was staying in Amsterdam for a while. I still work in Amsterdam. This in the background is Utrecht, the fourth largest city in the Netherlands.
Okay.
I got my heating turned on about 2 hours before the largest snowstorm of the year. So that was pretty lucky. And I was just rocking the sweatshirt and the sweatpants in bed. Had a problem with my heating, but yeah. At least now I'm back to summer weather. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice and sweaty. Oh man. But what am I up to? I'm back in grad school. Classes just started up again. So as soon as we hang up this call, I got to do some essays that are due today. I feel like I'm 19 again.
Wow.
It's weird because when you're in school, you're like, my whole life's ahead of me, right?
Yeah.
And now that I'm in school, it's like, yeah, my whole life's ahead of me. It's like, yeah, but I am almost 36. I'm supposed to have done something already, right? Like, yeah, but don't worry. It's all ahead of you. Oh, yeah.
It's all ahead of you.
I'm writing my book. That's coming along. It's a huge project. Thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of words. It's really great. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to read it. You're in it.
Excellent. Is this a book about just like your life or your travels?
It's a novel, but it's fairly based on my actual experiences and stories that I hear, right? Okay. So I might have a whole chapter about something I heard in Shenzhen. So I won't be in that chapter, but it's the story, that I heard. So in the book, you're supposed to learn a few lessons about life, mm-hmm. and it's supposed to be entertaining enough to keep your attention. But yeah, it's basically my story so far, so that if I get hit by a motorboat or if I die some strange way, at least I have this book to pass on to the family,
Wow.
Future generation. It's better than a blog,
Yeah. Agreed.
Should be interesting. But I'm super excited. Actually, to get the cover of the book, I'm going to have to take a photo in China. I know what I want as the cover, and I'm going to get a photographer in China to take it. It's the name of the book is When It Rains, You Get Wet. Right?
Okay.
And it's about not trying to control the world so much and just how to deal with real life and all that. And I wanted the cover to be me waiting to cross the street at a busy Chinese intersection, and it's raining, and everyone else has their umbrellas and they're hiding, and I'm standing there getting completely soaked, but there's like 100 people behind me, just all bunched up in their umbrellas. So
I like that.
Yeah, man.
When it rains, you get wet.
When it rains, you get wet, man. I can't tell you. Right now on Amazon, or you go to Walmart, we have a section to try to fix every small problem. It's like, oh, is your door squeaking? Here's a product. You can make it not squeak. Does your toilet smell like poop? Here's a product to make it. Yes, it smells like poop. It's a toilet. What is it supposed to smell like? And now we live in this fantasy world where, we don't want to have wrinkles in our clothes. It's like, well, that's what happens, man. When you wear stuff, it gets wrinkled. You can iron it, before you wear it, but it's going to get wrinkly, man. Like, just deal with it.
Yeah. So that's the philosophy.
I think a lot of people have sad lives because they have such unrealistic expectations. And so this book is trying to show people kind of the minutiae of life, like all the tiny things that you can kind of focus on to relax and to just say, hey, yeah, the battery died. Yeah, the flight is delayed 2 hours or whatever. But that's just the way it is. And like how to get on with it, how to focus on the good things, man.
Mm-hmm. How to keep moving forward.
Like, how many lonely people are there that walk by 100 strangers every day, but you just don't talk to them? And you're like, oh, I wish I had a girlfriend. Like, well, wasn't there a pretty girl on the bus who was looking at you? Yeah, but I was afraid to talk to her. Okay. Well, then you got to live with that, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's not going to put up a sign. Anyway, yeah, it's a long process, though. I don't want to make the book boring. I want people to enjoy their time. Mm-hmm. But that'll be true stories as well. And it's kind of hard to explain some of my behavior. It's like, chapter 1, I quit this job. Why'd you quit? Oh, because I'm crazy. You kind of like ease them into it. But, I think it's a great experience. I think everyone should try to write a book just to feel that process. And if you have a big head, maybe it'll be a humbling experience. And if you're shy, maybe it'll help you get out of your shell or be okay with being shy or whatever. But it's fascinating to put effort into words that thousands of strangers are going to read, not knowing you. And they're going to judge you based on the words alone. So you have to really kind of make it a craft and make it your art. It's a little bit beautiful. Makes me cry sometimes.
How would I get started then to do that? If
writing the book?
Yeah.
I would ask like 15 friends of yours, what makes you different? So
okay.
It may not have anything to do with the gym or boxing or China, or maybe it does. But ask like 15 of your closest friends, if I died in a helicopter accident, what would they say at my funeral? And just get some feedback from those people, and then start with whatever that is. So if it's your sense of humor, if it's your kindness, if it's your tattoos, if it's your hairstyle, whatever they say, that's what people seem to be taking from the John Graham experience, right? So that's a good place to start.
Okay.
And then just jam it out, like next time it's a rainy day in Shenzhen, just take a Sunday off, get a frozen latte or something, and just start typing. Not for any purpose, just kind of stream of consciousness. And you'll come up with a few things. You'll come up with some questions. You'll come up with some regrets. You'll come up with a few interesting points, and then basically you build a story off of that. It's lovely, man.
Interesting. Okay. But like structuring the book and all of that doesn't necessarily have to happen first off, like with chapters and
right.
a sort of a set storyline, at a beginning, a middle, and an end. You don't necessarily have to do that at the beginning then, yeah? You just can.
Yes. Some people love the structure and they make outlines and they do character development, profiles and all that first. Other people start with the ending. They're like, I want this really beautiful ending where the boy dies in the ocean and the girl survives floating on a door. And then they work backwards and they're like, oh, maybe there's a ship that sinks. Yeah, let's call it the Titanic.
Yeah.
Some people, but that's the beauty of it. It's a creative process. So if you want to do it your way, yeah, man, just do it your way. And there are books that help. A buddy of mine wrote a book called Book Craft, and Derek Murphy, and it's available on Amazon right now. But he admits in chapter 1, he's like, you got to do the magic, the inspiration, the thing that makes you different. But 90% of it is the structure. It's like how to, if you want to introduce a character, don't neglect that character for the next 100 pages. Like, make sure you involve the character in these ways. And here are some typical structures that seem to work with human emotion. And he kind of gives you the nice bamboo framework that you can then pour your soul into and make it into a proper book. So that's been really helpful as well. But he's great. He challenged us 2016 on a cruise ship to write 2,000 words a day in our books and all that. And it was a big party on board, man. Like free booze, open bar, 24 hours, swimming pools, beautiful people. We were in the Caribbean, and it's like, no way I'm going to get my writing done, but I did. I made time for the 2,000 words, and when you put effort into a craft like that, and you really feel that the work is valuable, that the final result is going to be something strangers can improve their lives with. It's like, wow, this is power, man. This is something you can't do on your own, right? And I think a lot of our selfish motivations, it's all just kind of BS that entertains us momentarily. Like, oh, I got new jewelry. Oh, I got a new laptop. Oh, or like, oh, I won trivia, or I won a singing contest or something like that. But after a couple of days, that wears off, right? But if you're putting your effort into something that you're proud of, and that other people are going to benefit from, that's a great feeling. Even if you don't get paid for it, if you feel like you've improved the world somehow. And if your book sucks, that's okay. Just try again.
Just try another one. Try it all over again. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's inspiring. Yeah.
It's been good. It's been rough during the pandemic. Like, what's your sense of purpose during a pandemic? Because hustling to make money just doesn't have the same feel, right? When you're not at the clubs and you're not at the conferences, you're not giving speeches, and you're not with your buddies, hustling just seems worthless,
Yeah.
You're just stuck in a cage. So the book has been helpful during these last 10 months or so. And I've got about 110,000 words so far. But chugging away, man. Chugging away.
110,000. Wow. This is going to be a big one.
Yeah, I may have to break it down, man. Maybe a couple books. I don't know. I can figure that out soon, though, before.
Well, I like this, the underlying sort of message inside it, right? If it rains, you get wet. It's about managing expectations, about managing your own and the people around you, the expectations. That's a good message, right? That's probably where a lot of the world's sadness comes from, right?
Yeah, and this all came from my sarcastic kind of retorts, right? It wasn't really a philosophy in the beginning, but it was just a different way of looking at life, So I can't remember which comedian this was. I think this is one of the Monty Python guys that had this joke. I believe it was one of them. And on Friday, this guy had a regular job, right? Regular office job. And on Friday, he thought he had won the lottery. He looked at his ticket and he thought he got all 6 numbers right. So he had won £2 million. So he was going to quit his job. And Friday, he told everyone to go to hell. He told his boss to eat shit. He told the accountants what he really thought of them. And he was burning paper and flipping things over. And at the end, he gave a finger to everybody. And he's like, yeah, suck eggs. And he left. And when he got home, he told his wife, yeah, we won the lottery. And his wife looks at the numbers and she's like, honey, that's an 8, not a 6. It's really small. He's like, oh, shit. Oh, no. So he hadn't won anything. So over the weekend, he said to his mates, well, what are you going to do for work? You just quit your job and all that. And the advice they gave him was just go back on Monday and pretend like nothing happened. And that's what he did. He goes in Monday morning. He's like, "Oh, wait, did you see the football match?" Yeah. Morning, Karen. Morning. It's that kind of perspective that people don't take. It's like, yeah, why not? Force the world to tell you no, right?
Yeah.
Just keep pushing for yes. Don't ask permission. Just keep pushing and force the world to be like, no, you don't work here anymore. It might happen. But yeah. So I don't know, man.
I like that philosophy, though. It's an empowering one. It's one that a lot of people could use and definitely should use. I don't use it enough myself.
Well, I think people need to open up. But there are a lot more possibilities of who you are in life. Like when you're a kid, you either want to be an astronaut or a president or a lawyer or a mermaid. Like those are the only options. There's no such thing as a management consultant, right? Or a tax executive. And then you realize there's people that give speeches. There's people that work with clinically depressed CEOs, that have to sign an NDA and they give these therapy sessions. And you're like, I didn't know that was a job. So, when you're about 20 or 30 years old, you can start to look around and say, why do people come to me? Do people come to me for relationship advice? Do people see me as a fashion?
Oh, your mic cut out. Yeah. Oh no, I got you back.
I probably said a rude word. It was just being censored or something. I don't know.
Yeah. You beeped out. They beeped you out. You were swearing.
Yeah. I shouldn't say that word again. I brought up the church. They got me. No, but I think if you really get serious about it, and if you ask your friends, like, what's my value, and they say, like, man, like we don't know how you do it. Like you're always off the counter. You're doing some different stuff, but you're still surviving. You're an inspiration where you enjoy certain moments, the way you turn a boring party into something that we'll never forget. You turn a boring job into a really fun Monday morning, and it's like you give us hope that every little thing could be something, even if we don't expect it to be. And like, oh, okay, cool. That's who I am. Okay. So now what can I do with that knowledge? I was like, maybe you spice things up, right? Maybe you say, I don't want to start my own podcast, but I want to join podcasts. I don't want to write a book, but I want to be I want to review books, and I want to do it on YouTube, and I want to, build an army of people that love reading, but don't like this or that. Man, now with the internet, you can be anybody, and you can find your tribe. So I know everything's not financially feasible, but if you can just find a way to survive, like get a job at Taco Bell or something, and then you can put 80% of your life into your hobbies, you're gonna touch a lot of people. So I think my priorities have shifted, these last 15 years. It's not about making a bunch of money and then figuring out what to do with it. It's about making enough money so that I can do with my life what I want. And it sucks because you don't have the money to put into the hobbies. But it makes it really special when you do put in the money for something that you want to do.
That's it.
Like flying to Australia for your birthday. Like I don't have money lying around for international flights whenever I want, but I have enough for, that flight. If I decide that that's going to be something I'm going to do, it's like, yeah, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And then you get that momentum, and then the whole time you're there, you're like, I chose this. This is my treat, and it tastes better. Then if you have money just to fly everywhere, and you're like, where am I? New Zealand? Oh, Australia. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. It becomes special. Things like this, it's the little things that count, right? Yeah,
That's it.
Things count better. That's definitely a key to happiness and overall fulfillment, is just like making sure that you make every little thing count.
So what's it like over there on the China side? You guys are opening up. You guys are getting vaccinated. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, around this same time last year is when it was pretty bad in China, right, for COVID. So nobody wants that situation again. So during Chinese New Year, travel is heavily restricted. There's not as much movement at all. Shenzhen, majority of people that are in Shenzhen probably are staying in Shenzhen. So just to keep, the movement is what causes causes the virus to spread, especially the amount of movement when you're talking in China. China, there's huge amounts of movement, right? So,
it's like the population of Europe moves.
Yeah. All go off, all crammed together in different, planes, trains, right? It's the ideal location for a virus to spread, right? That situation. So
what they should have done in 2020? They should have started selling heavy shoes, so that it's harder for people to move. When you get to the heavy shoes, so you don't want to walk on the road. Just stay at home.
Yeah.
Thinking outside the box.
Shoes got heavier, isn't it? That could have happened.
the heavy sole scandal.
Yeah. Governments across the world have reported shoes have gotten a lot heavier since.
I'll tell you what, it's funny because the social credit score, right, from Ant Financial and all those guys. So in China, almost no one cared about it. No one was talking about it. And every person I meet, when I mention that I lived in China for a bunch of years, they're like, oh, I heard they have like a Black Mirror credit score. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, And it made me realize that I can make up anything I wanted about China and people would believe me.
They would, yeah.
So I do like 2 truths and a lie, but I don't tell them that there's a lie. So I'll be like, they had like 40 million, rent bicycles and all these different companies. And like, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, we had mountains of bicycles just piled up. And they're like, oh, I saw that in the news. Yeah. And then the next thing I'll be like, yeah, they got facial recognition software. Like 18 of the 20, most filmed cities in the world are in China. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. And then I'll say something weird like, since 2019, they put a microchip in babies' dicks. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's to, so that fathers can't run away on their babies if they impregnate a woman and run away. And then my friends are like, yeah, we should do that too. It's weird. I'm like, I was just kidding about that. They're like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, you suckered into that one. Yeah.
Next time you meet a Chinese guy, ask him to show you his implant.
Yeah, ask him about it.
Can I see?
But yeah, you could do the 2 truths and a lie over there, right? Over in Europe, you can say, you could make up absolutely anything. You could just see what kicks off, what makes it.
Especially these like communism boogeyman stories, like they have this idea that there's like a megaphone, like a police officer, like it is time to wake up, and everybody wakes up. So you're like, oh yeah, for COVID, the quarantine hotels, everybody gets the same banana, the same rice cakes, they have the same chicken parmesan lunches. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the national diet. That's why the Olympics team is so good. They eat the same food for 4 years, and
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's easy
But it
to
worked
get.
anyway. They were saying that our roads are made of gold. You know, people would show
Yeah.
up to New York and be like, "Where are the gold roads?" We're like,
No, that's the other country. You got the wrong country. But it's easy to make stuff up like that. I mean, that's now it with people love that. They love the bit of tension, a bit of like with especially with the Communist Party, a little bit of scandal. Did you hear? And everyone's, ooh, here it comes. Listen, this will be good. This will be good. And then you drop it, and everyone's like, ooh, we don't know. We've never been there. We'll take it. We'll believe it. It's probably true. You know.
When Jack Ma disappeared for a few months, people were saying like, "Oh, he's been using a body double. He's been gone for longer than a few months."
Yes, of course.
He's buried. He's buried under a bridge somewhere. And then when he came back, they were like, "Oh, he was abducted by aliens. He was in North Korea." And I'm like, wow. Yeah. Maybe he was like Jack Dorsey. He was just on like a yoga retreat with no cell phone, you know, for like 3 months.
Yeah, maybe the stress just got to him, and he just wanted, you know, some time to chill. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't that big of a conspiracy, but we like the conspiracy stories.
Oh, we love it, man.
We love them. Well, it's good.
To be fair, right? That's what humans are good at. One of the things that we naturally do is we try to find a connection within random chaos, right? And that's one of the reasons why our species has been so successful. Is we can look at 1,000 faces and we can say, well, those people are related. Wow, how'd you know that? Well, because the facial structure, they look similar, and you know, the age difference is about 25 years, so maybe it's father and daughter, you know. And like that's what we do, man. Like we look at stuff that has nothing to do with anything, and we're like, I see a conspiracy.
Yes, yes, yeah.
That just feels so good. Oh, you don't even want to be proven right. You just want to feel. You want to feel like you're right. Yeah, that's
right. Yeah. You want to come up with an outrageous story, get everyone to go, ooh, wow, you have the you know the in, right? You've got the how did you get this scoop? And then everyone to go, ooh, wow. And then, but it can be as outrageous as possible. You can't prove it's right, and no one can prove it's wrong. So you just put it out there, and you feel, oh, wow, it feels good. And everyone's like, ooh, yeah, it feels good to listen to that. Ooh, what if, right? What if?
And it's weird how like we keep pushing technology improves, but we still have to deal with human nature. And humans have always been kind of like one step ahead of technology, and then technology catches up, and then we got to figure out something else. So like back 200 years ago, or let's say 150, 200 years ago, you're living in New York, you want to go west because you owe somebody some money. I don't know. Or you killed your wife and you're wanted for murder. So you can't stay in New York. So you get on a horse or you get on a train or something, and you just go west. And you go to like Texas. Nobody knows your name. You grow a mustache, right? You get a pair of boots. And instead of being, Leroy Salazar, you tell everyone your name is, Jimmy Junction Beats or whatever. You're like, welcome, Jimmy Junction Beats. And, you get a house and you get married again and you live a whole new life. You don't have an ID card. You don't have a passport. You don't have anybody tracking your data, right? So you could just do this. You could commit crimes and fail and then just steal money and go to the next town, go to Kansas, go to California until technology caught up, right?
Yeah.
The sheriffs started to communicate with each other, like, send me a picture of this Jesse Beats guy or whatever. And it's like, arrest him. He murdered somebody in our town. Yeah. And so it's going to be funny to see which elements of human nature are kind of getting cornered by certain technologies, and where is it going to run to after that? How are we going to escape? How are we going to continue this, futile way that we are. So I'm kind of excited about the next 50 years, but more as a spectator, not really as a participant.
Well, the whole world's going to get connected, right? Currency, travel, everything's going to get connected. Everything will be, there's not going to be any of this. There's going to be a one currency, that's for sure. That in 50 years, there will be a one currency.
It's probably going to be a currency with a dog mascot or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and you
funny,
can't forget the aliens. The aliens will come too.
Yeah, the aliens show up with a really cool looking form. Like, yeah, those. But like, you know, any modern problem, you can propose an even, you know, more futuristic solution, but it's kind of creepy. It's like all the voting issues in places like Uganda with their recent election, all the flap about the votes in the US. It's like, okay, how about we just do this? You know, everybody gets microchips with a voting ID card, and it's only used for voting. And once every 2 years, you just go to any office and you just scan your chip and you vote, a 7-Eleven or a gymnasium, you know, whatever. And then if anybody needs to audit their vote, you just do like a scan of all the humans and you're like, oh yeah, she voted for this, he voted for that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, that would fix it. But, oh, we don't want chips in our body. Like, okay, fine. Well, let's do it the old way with paper and pencil. Oh, that would take too long to count 80 million votes. Like, well,
yeah.
like, what do you want, man? Like, you want to get it totally secure, or do you want to get it totally, you know, free, or do you want to get it totally quick? People just got to face reality that things are changing.
That's right.
No way, right? We used to not lock our doors, but now we do. And if you want to go back to not locking any of the doors, like, good luck. You know, good luck getting insurance for your business without locks on your door. Good luck keeping your car, you know, in the parking lot with leaving the doors open. You know, it's just, things change, and people have to kind of mentally deal with that. And it's no fun. It's no fun to have a way of life for 30 or 40 years just get pulled away from you. And we have to figure out how to deal with people that are not used to the changes, people that are really wanting the changes, how they can work together. Yeah, man. Big challenge, but...
Big challenge, that's right.
But like I said, it's going to be a spectacle, for sure.
Yes. How's the tattoo business, bro? I'm looking at that design that you have behind you there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's tribal stuff.
That's a late '90s, early 2000s tattoo. This whole apartment was painted and decorated by a bunch of university students around that time, turn of the millennium, and there's some really cool tattoo, like tribal tattoos,
stuff, yeah.
Western Europe. So, yeah, that's still there. It's all over the house. Kind of matches. Even the heater is like cut into different shapes and stuff. But no, the tattoo business, it's all right. It's labor intensive. We're going to have to kind of shift the production strategy, because currently we offer, you know, any tattoo anywhere on the body. On the shirt, right? Anywhere on your upper body. And some tattoos are really complicated, and some are really colorful, and the alignment, man, it's taken like dozens of hours per shirt, you know, which is great. Right. It's a good product. It's a beautiful product. It's a good result, high quality. But in order to make money, we'd have to start charging a lot more than we already are.
That's it. So yeah.
Maybe we leave it as a high-end product, and we have some kind of more affordable product that we offer that makes us money. Yeah. And then we kind of earn our reputation from the high-end product, but we make our money from something a bit simpler. I don't know. But I'm talking with my partner about that these weeks. I just finished my final shirt from the original orders from 2020. And man, I ordered about 4 different shirts for this guy, and he has like a shoulder and then a half sleeve. So it was all sorts of craziness, like with spirals and swirls and trying to match them up, and then man, but it's given me a lot more appreciation for these artists who can make clothing and custom hats and stuff. It's tough work.
Yeah.
We used to pay better for solid boots and jackets, but now we're so used to the mass factories, right? I can get a jacket for $20.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay $400 for a jacket. And we're like, okay. But yeah, I think someone's going to make a lot of money on this tattoo idea. It might be us, but if it's not us, it's going to be someone else for sure. So, again, we're going to try to keep thinking and working for a solution. But 10 years from now, yeah, someone will be the big company that's pushing this thing. I'm excited. I can't wait to see more people wearing it, but hopefully it's us.
Yeah.
Your tattoos are super difficult, man.
Yeah, that's it.
I've been working on yours. Man, I paid one guy $700, one artist, to take your images and try to digitize them and make them wrap around the shoulder and the arm and have it matched up right. Oh my gosh. Over $700.
Oh God. That's a lot.
But I cut him off. I was like, no more, man, no more. Stop. Holy crap.
You should. It could be a thing where if certain tattoos just cost a certain amount. People will, like, if it's online, you'll get a shirt and you'll just say, "Oh, I just want the simple one. I'll just pay that, just a little tattoo." But if someone's like, "Oh, I want the full sleeve," you pay that, and you just pay it every time it's like adding to cart, add a new tattoo, and if it comes out, it's like $2,000. That's what it costs. That's $2,000.
Yeah,
that's
what we're trying to do. So we don't release any prices because it all depends. If you have a small triangle tattoo on your shoulder, we're like, oh yeah, no problem, and everything is deemed me personally. But if a guy is like, oh, I want this like flames coming up from my hips, and okay, so like 300. And then I'm stitching it. It's not going well. And I'm like, can we redo it? Yeah. Maybe we change the shape of the flames, or we add this or that. And it's all a one-on-one relationship. So if we're going to scale up, we have to think of something else, because I can't possibly talk to 100 customers a month.
That's it. That all want this.
Yeah, keeping them like informed and all that stuff. I guess I could 100 a month. But more than that, it's a bit hectic. So we'll see. But I've definitely learned a ton about value and what people are willing to pay for. Because people love a good idea, and they're willing to pay a lot for an idea, even if they can get better quality boots from that shop, or even if they can get a nicer or a warmer jacket from this shop. They'll still pay more for yours if it has a story, if it has an idea that they believe in. So you got to kind of learn how to double down on those and how to make the rest of the product good enough to satisfy people's needs. But yeah, it's been a trip, man. I've lost so many brain cells just thinking about this company this year. Hundreds of hours working in the machine. And the stitching noise, it's like do 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 do. And when you're sitting there 4 a.m. and just staring at this damn needle, your mind starts to get a little loopy, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I see. Yeah. That is rough, right?
That's not a keyboard, I guess. That's all right.
Yeah, it's all embroidery. It's all embroidered. That's what's tough. If it was a sticker, then it probably wouldn't be as bad if you could somehow just get this. Yeah,
I work with this sticker guy, and he's always watching me do the embroidery. He's like, "Hey man, if you want to make a print, just let me know. We can order like 50 and just like print it. You can do like 50. We can do like 50 in an hour." And I'm like, "Oh man, it takes me like a week to do a shirt, you know?" You can do 50.
Yeah, that's right. The printing.
Yeah. But that's why you don't see a lot of custom embroidery stuff out there. Because it's expensive.
Because it's easier to print it. Yes, that's right. Yeah, you got to just get a really like really high-end client. You know, you get that one dude, you know, Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't have any tattoos. He's not really. You get some, you know, like 50 Cent. You get 50 cents, and he gets one, and he's like, yeah, this is I got this inside out.
That's it. I've been obviously making shirts for our customers, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe we should just stop production and start making celebrity shirts for a couple months and just send them around, see if anybody wears it, you know? Because
that's it.
Even if it's weird, like David Beckham puts a shirt on and he's like, "What is this?" Yeah, even if he's just confused, that's cool. At least it'll get people talking about it and being like, "Oh, these tattoos on a shirt? What?"
Yeah.
But it's tough. The scary part is getting popular because like we cannot handle the demand, you know? If I get 1,000 people who want to buy a shirt, even if they're paying 500 euros, like, how am I going to do that? You know?
Yeah.
It's going to take all year.
You need a Chinese factory. That's what you need.
That's how it started, man. More than a year ago, I was looking for production, and I was talking to all these factories, like, "Hey, I'm gonna, can you make this embroidered shirt?" They're like, "Yes." "How many do you want?" I was like, "Just one." And they were like, "Well, that's gonna be really expensive." I was like, "That's fine." And they were like, "Well, what's the image?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know yet. I'm gonna send it to you once the customer takes pictures of their tattoos, you know." And they were like, "Nah, it's too difficult. Like, we don't want to do all these different images all the time and exactly where to put them and all that. It was too much for them." So I said, "I'll do it myself. I'll do my own company. I'll do it myself." So I have to like train an army of people how to do it right, but it can be done. This is exciting. Anytime you run your own business, it's like, I know when you were doing the gyms, right? It's like, well, what machine should I put here? How much space should I leave for this? Should I get a bunch of running machines, or do I need space for cardio classes? What should the membership be? Should it be super expensive and VIP only? Or should it be like 10 RMB a month and everybody gets a membership but no one shows up? You know? And like all these questions fall on your lap. And it's very exciting. I think everyone should run a business too. Write a book, run a business. Great life experience, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's two big challenges that I think that they're not incredible challenges that I would say that are not manageable by the average human being. Definitely something that grows you. Running a business, Jesus. Running a business, writing a book, and do some sort of marathon or some physical challenge. Add that in there as well. Get that in there as well.
All the athletes who took their bodies for granted, you know, like growing up doing sports, and then in your 20s and 30s, just casually doing athletic things without paying attention, you're going to turn into an old man, like boom, so soon. Because if you don't stretch, and if you don't kind of keep pushing yourself, and if you're not putting the right fuel in your body's like, "Hey man, like you don't need these muscles." Hey, you don't have to connect these two, you know. things, and all of a sudden, like, oh, my shoulder, my back, my neck, my hips, my knee, my ankle, and then if you don't take care of it, and then you just sit in a chair during your 50s, and then you're just full of pain in your 60s. Yeah, so it's like a big wake up call for a bunch of people our age. If and I'm speaking to myself basically.
Yeah.
You know, once you hang up the rugby boots, nothing replaces it, and then you just get stale. So you need to get on a bike or start swimming, something. You know.
Yeah, you got to do something. That's right.
I got a frozen shoulder now. I don't know if I told you. So it's
why? Yeah, you told me your shoulder was frozen. Why is your shoulder frozen?
Yeah. The doctor said it was probably because I went to the gym. I went 0 to hero in June. So I went from doing no exercise to going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. And I would do a lot of shoulder activity. I would do like 8, forward, side, back, this and that, press. I was doing a lot of shoulder activity, and I had shoulder surgery 2002. So they've never really been good. And I just overworked it, and I kind of inflamed the muscly bits on the inside that then started to spread, and they locked the bone from moving so much. So I couldn't put on boots, I couldn't put on a backpack. I couldn't sleep on my left side. I couldn't wash part of my body. I couldn't reach it. I was doing the body wash down my back.
Oh man, that is pain.
But at least I know what it is now. So I've been doing my rubber bands, and I'm doing rehab and stuff. But when they say it's like 12 months of rehab, you're like, what? Come on.
12 months of rehab. Wow.
I'm like, come on, I'll be 36. And they're like, yeah, you'll be 36. I'm like, oh, damn. All right. So I delay my whole athletic, renaissance for another year. But I could be doing some squats and some running and stuff. I just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to get back into it, man.
Well, so rugby might have been, your early rugby days could have, some hidden injuries maybe you didn't know about. Because rugby crash into people, right, with your shoulder.
Well, it was really funny. So I didn't start playing rugby until 2004, so pretty late. But then I played it a lot for the next 6 years, so, and then occasionally since then. And since then, the NFL in America, they've come out with this brain disease. It's called CTE, right?
Okay.
Concussion. So they took some retired players who had gone crazy, and they had killed themselves, horrific suicides. And their wives were like, yeah, he was acting weird, and he was like getting angry and forgetting people's names. And they looked at the body, and it wasn't Alzheimer's, and it wasn't dementia. It wasn't anything like that. So they chopped open the brains, and they found this new disease that they called CTE that was basically from head trauma, from smashing your head. And it wasn't just concussions, but it was like what they call micro concussions. If you do it often, just banging your head and stuff.
Even small, but just often, a lot. Like don't do it a lot, but even if it is a big impact.
How many people have this? Well, you don't know until they're dead, and you can cut their brain open. But they studied 120 American football brains, from professional to college to high school, and 119 had it out of the 120. So they're like, that's not good. So then they started warning people. They're like, oh, if you get like 2 concussions, you should be careful. Maybe you should stop playing. And I was like, are you serious? Like 2 concussions? I was like, I've had at least 8 from rugby.
Oh, no.
Like, that's not good at all. I remember my first big one was we were playing an alumni match where the university kids play all the older folks who have graduated. Okay. So some of these older guys are like 42 years old. Some are 26, and they never played together, right? They have jobs in Florida and Washington, and they fly in just for this weekend. It's like a reunion weekend, and they play the local current kids. So I was a kid. I was like 19, and I ran around this big prop. He went for me, but I was faster than him. So as he was falling to the ground, he grabbed my shirt, and he kind of started to swing me. And the momentum, right, him falling like a tree, and then I got swung around, wham, and I landed on my head. And that's the last thing I remember. But my teammates said, like, yeah, we were playing, and there was a scrum at the other side of the field, but there was no hooker. So the scrum, they're like, oh, where's Curtin? Where's Curtin? And then somebody points. They're like, there he is, like 80 meters away, lying on the ground. Oh, he must have gotten injured a few minutes ago. He's over there by himself. And they came over to me, and they were like slapping me around. Well, one of the alums was a doctor. And so they drugged me off the field, and the doctor's drinking a beer. It's like 10 in the morning. And he's like, hey, can you see my finger? Can you see my finger? I was like, yeah, I see your finger. And he goes, can you smell my finger? I was like, what? I'm like, what kind of doctor exam is this? This guy's drunk. You've got a drunk doctor talking to a concussed teenager. This is not making any sense at all. But I love all my concussions. They were great. It was like badges of honor, man. You would, everyone at the party would be like, you're going to be okay. You're like, yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Your brain's in your head like, what the hell was that? I'm like, nothing.
Oh my God. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. That's a rough concussion. And you've had at least 8 of those.
Yeah, I had like six proper ones where you had to come out of the game. And then I had 2 where I stayed in the game, but I shouldn't have. Near the end, you're just trying to finish out the game, and you're kind of going in and out of being aware of and of course, when the game is over, people are like patting you on the head. They're like, good game. Not helping. And then drinking immediately after is probably also not a good idea.
Oh, so not a good idea. Yeah. Drinking. Oh my God. You'll be all right, Curtin. You'll be okay. Oh.
You end up in really weird, when you're concussed, you end up in strange situations. Like, you think you're waiting in line for the toilet, but you're actually standing in front of a payphone. Right? But for some reason in your mind, it was like, this is the place to wait right here. I'm just going to wait here for the door to open. And you're standing there for like 20 minutes. And then you start peeing your leg. You're on your pants. And someone's like, are you okay, dude? And you're like, man, this guy's taking forever. You're just peeing yourself in front of a phone. And you're like, what?
Oh, man.
And then you kind of snap out of it. You're like, oh, what am I doing with my life?
Dude, that is painful. Yeah. Yeah, the worst, just recently, I was on the bike, and I fell over on the bike. I hit my head against the road. I had massive gash here. A little bit concussed because I remember coming home. I was in the elevator, and I forgot what number I lived on, and that was a bit scary. That was a bit scary. Yeah, you're like, wait. That was a bit scary. Yeah. And then you kind of like you said, you're going in and out. Yeah. You're focused, and you like get dizzy, and then you focus again, but dizzy. Yeah. But it wasn't nearly as bad as thinking I'm in a place where I'm not, and then standing there and like, oh shit, where am I? Yeah.
It's funny, right? It's funny how the mind works, because we take so many shortcuts, right? So yesterday I locked myself out of my apartment. First time in like 10 years I've done that, because I woke up and I immediately had to go to the pharmacy to buy some medicine. And so I put my medicine in my pocket, and the cap for my medicine looks like this, and my keychain has this antler. Whoa! Oh my god!
Oh, a similar little, yeah. So they kind of look like similar, right?
It's like the same shape, right? The same size.
Yeah.
It was in my pocket. So this was in my pocket, and I was about to leave the door, and I checked for my keys like I always do, and I touched my pocket, and I felt this, and I was like, okay, got him, boom. And then I didn't have him, and I was like, oh man, like damn shortcuts in the brain.
Yeah.
All these things. And it's more obvious when you're on a drug, or when you're concussed, or when you're crying because your sweetheart just left you. Like those weird states when you're not completely there, it becomes really obvious. All the shortcuts that are not taking us where we want to go.
That's right.
Yeah, so many. This is what I like about lived experiences, right? You can research all you want, but until you've done something yourself, it's really hard to appreciate it, right? Like people who read about concussions, they're like, "Oh, that must hurt," and I'm like, "No, actually, I don't ever remember feeling pain. It's not like ow, ow. It's just kind of this like numbness, this kind of floating like feeling." Right?
Yeah, that's
How do
right.
you describe it to somebody unless they've done it? It's like, here, just let me hit you in the head. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's so nice. Like during COVID, we're cut off from people, and when you finally find somebody with a shared experience, like, oh yeah, I got bit by a dog. Yeah, me too. Or like I had a tattoo removed. Oh yeah, me too. You're like, oh okay. And getting those people together, that's beautiful. Because it's like you don't need language anymore. You can just, look at each other and be like,
Yeah, I feel you, bro. Yeah. So what are you going to do? What are your plans then? How do we end this behind the curtain session? You got to tell us about what's Curtin going to be doing, let's say, in the next couple months?
It's there's still snow outside. I may go out and build myself a friend. I just did laundry, so I can make a snowman. I put some clothes on him and have like a pretend conversation.
It's snowing outside?
Yeah. Keep me from being lonely. Lonely.
Ooh, it's cold.
Hey, maybe I'll close with this. Ooh, do you remember the Heineken City Edition series? Like they had the Shanghai beers and all that stuff.
Look at that. Yeah.
They did a global one. So it was like London, Rome, but they had 2 in China. I still have it. This is from 2014 or 2013. But it's weird. Now that I live here where Heineken is, I took it to their tourist office, the Heineken Experience. These tourists pay €15 to see the factory or whatever. I took it there and I was like, look what I have. And they were on it, man. They were like, oh, limited edition, released in China between these dates. And I was like, you know it, man. There's a whole underground world of beer collectibles that I didn't know about.
Oh, wow.
But, people keeping bottle caps and beers. And I'm like, man, that could be a hobby. That could be something to get into. Start purchasing old Budweiser cans from the 1960s online.
Limited edition beer bottle. Shanghai. Nice
I would
one.
say,
there you go.
A good way to end it would be to give everybody permission to get involved in something weird. We've just spent a year on lockdown, restrictions, whatever. Life is short. And if there's something quirky and strange that you're kind of interested in, go chase it. If you want to collect beer bottles from different countries, or if you want to decorate your hamster neon colors, whatever it is, I don't know. Just get involved. There's an online community for it, probably. If not, start one.
There you go.
You know, take 15 minutes of the week just for you to do something weird in your own little world, and don't be embarrassed.
That's it.
Can be beautiful.
Yeah.
And don't lock yourself out in the snowstorm. That's stupid.
That's the stupid. All right, signing off for this session of Behind the Curtain. Always a pleasure.